So what we're going to do is we're here to expose it, let people tell their story, and let everybody in the public see the horrors of the court system in Suffolk County, New York.
Long Island Backstory.
Hi, I'm Gary Jacobs, and welcome to another edition of Long Island Backstory, where we're filming at the Alt-T Studios, formerly Cablevision Studios in Hauppauge, New York. Today, I've got a great guest. This is one of those fun shows. A lot of times I do shows that are sort of depressing and not that much fun, but this is one that it's going to be a fun show because I've known Dennis for probably almost 20 years now, maybe even more, and Dennis has been a good friend, and he's just an all-around great guy. Dennis Garetano is the owner and founder of Family Pet Shows. Dennis and his wife Karen and son Joe have been putting on pet expos for more than 20 years. And as an animal lover and someone who in my real life is in the pet industry, manufacturing pet supplies myself, I always look forward to doing Dennis's shows. They're always fun. And I like that they promote pet ownership, because one of the things I want to talk about with you is how this has changed over the years. When I first got into the industry, it was very common. I grew up having a fish tank and a gerbil and a rabbit, and now kids all play video games. And I really think that we lost something by not having our kids learn responsibility and how to care for animals. And at Dennis's Pet Shows, they're very well run. They're educational. They promote responsible pet ownership. And as I'm sure Dennis can attest to, it's not easy when you put on a pet show, because you always have some opposition, because people think that, oh, pet show, he's exploiting animals or not doing the right thing. But I can assure everybody, Dennis does the right thing. You're responsible for saving many, many animals' lives with the adoption that you do. So having said that, well, Dennis, welcome to Long Island Backstory.
Thank you.
So let's start off at the beginning. How did you start with pet expos?
Well, we used to be publishers of horse magazines. And then in 1994, we were introduced to a travel agency that wanted to do a horse expo.
And this is here on Long Island?
No, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And we thought about it and said, this is an interesting concept. Let's do this horse expo.
Okay.
And then in '96, we since most horse people own other pets,
right,
we decided to add pets to the show. And needless to say, the pet part of it grew and grew. And over the years, we used to have, and depending on the building, we'd have a horse expo on one side of the building and a pet expo on the other side. And then in 2003, we took over the Long Island Pet Expo. And that's when we just went.
That was the one that used to be at the Nassau Coliseum?
Yes.
Okay. I remember there used to be lines out the door.
We did it at the Coliseum for 3 years. It just got to be too expensive. Right. We are a family-oriented business, and we donate free space to all the rescues. You couldn't do it at the Coliseum.
Right.
So we decided to move. We tried Hofstra. It was too small. And now we're at Suffolk Community College on Long Island. We're still in Pennsylvania, in Montgomery County. It's been many years, and it's our biggest show. And we're in Allentown and New Jersey.
So when is the one, I mean, because we're doing the shows basically be seen on Long Island. So what month do you do the Long Island one that you do?
Always the second weekend of March.
And that's at Suffolk
every year.
Community
Suffolk
College,
Community College,
which is off of that Wicks
it's
Road?
in Brentwood, yeah, off of Wicks Road, exit 53.
So let me tell you, you've been doing this for over 20 years now.
Yes.
So how is I've seen huge changes in the pet industry.
Oh, yes.
So what have you seen in pet ownership? What animals people buy? What trends?
Well, dogs and cats are still number one.
Right.
The fish industry fell apart for a while. I think it's trying to come back now, fish ownership. There was an influx of Chinese fish.
Right.
And they were dying, so people would.
Those are, I think, a lot of they're wild caught fish.
Right.
So they don't do as well, but now is they breed a lot of fish.
Exactly.
In, captivity.
So that has changed. Adoptions have really increased. The adoption industry.
Right.
And I call it an industry, but it's not really. I mean, it's a major part of the pet industry right now. There's such a need, especially with all the hurricanes, and it's Hurricane Sandy and all the different. That's when we decided, Hurricane Sandy was when we decided to offer free space to the rescues.
Right.
And it's really paid off. It's paid off for them, and it's helped us. And that promotes responsible pet ownership. And why is there such a need for all these adoptions?
Right.
So people are buying pets on impulse, and then they're just not. They don't realize how difficult it is to own a pet, especially a dog or a cat. The reptile industry is still very strong, as long as people purchase the right reptiles, as we see.
The ones that you see, if you get a little alligator or a caiman.
Yeah, well, there are certain reptiles you shouldn't own as a pet.
Right.
And each state has different. It's very interesting in that the different states are totally different. They have different. A hedgehog you could have in New Jersey, you can't have in Pennsylvania. You could have venomous snakes in Pennsylvania, but you can't have ferrets in New York City.
Right. I mean,
it's just
we can't have sugar
none of it
gliders,
makes
I think,
sense.
in New York State.
Yeah, right. Sugar gliders.
Right.
But sugar gliders in New York
license, I
State,
think,
you
now.
can't have them in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Sugar gliders you can have in New York State.
Yeah.
Yes.
So how have you seen the trends as far as children? I mean, I think every family still, especially here in Long Island, the suburbs, a lot of families like to have a dog or a cat. It's a pretty high percentage. But what about children? That's not really to me. A dog is really a family pet. What about children owning pets?
They love. The children love the pet shows, and that is really one of the best part about doing the show is when you see these children smile, and they're so happy when they see even. People are allowed to bring their own pets to the show.
Okay.
So we'll get everything.
Which is not that common. You can't bring your dog many places.
Exactly. So they can bring their dogs, their cats. We have somebody brings a miniature horse to the show. We have somebody brings skunks, birds, any type of pets. When you see a 4-year-old, 5-year-old, a 6, 7-year-old see a dog, a cat, a bird, or whatever kind of reptile, or a reptile, the smile on their face makes the whole show worthwhile.
Right.
And we teach them about responsible pet ownership. That's our goal.
Right. So tell me about some of the vendors that are at the show. I know you have one really, really good vendor there who sells really good discount pet supplies. That would be Scoochie Pet Products.
Right.
That's my shameless plug that we do get product. We sell stuff inexpensive out there to get people to try it. But tell us about you do a lot of other.
The biggest thing that's increasing now are the dog treats.
Okay.
And it's a lot of mom and pop type dog treats, from cookies, and some of the cookies look like something you would eat or I would eat.
Right.
And that's the biggest growing. About 5 or 6 years ago, the largest growing vendor were fashion for dogs.
Right.
That's still around. So a lot of our vendors are not the big corporations. A lot of our vendors are the mom and pops.
Well, I think that's changed over the years. I think originally when you were doing them, all the big food companies, when the people were learning about, we call them premium pet foods or professional pet foods, and everybody was there with lines, Science Diet, Nutramax, on. They were all giving out free samples. But now, especially here on the island, most people know about better quality pet foods, and it seems to have slowed down at the expo where there's not as many people promoting the good quality food. You have a few. I think that there's a trend in frozen food or fresh food.
Yes.
And you have somebody who goes and gives out rolls of look like salami.
Fresh pet from New Jersey.
Okay, so they come out. But like you said, it's a great way of getting because you do let the smaller. Your show isn't so exorbitant that a mom and pop can't get in. And it's interesting. You call it a family expo, but also your vendors.
A family.
Or family too. You get a lot of, like you said, a lot of people that just have a small business. They go there and they can, make a few bucks and get their product out.
And we've had companies like Blue Buffalo that was a small company.
Not anymore.
They started with our show
at
Long Island, and then they just grew, and now they're too big for us. We have a lot of that. We have a lot of I still talk to a lot of companies that started with us as just an idea. And after the show, they became huge, to use that word, and that's probably a good word to use today. And they actually went strictly into the wholesale business.
Right.
So we're a consumer show. So it's a totally
Which I think
different.
is actually, for me, I don't sell to consumers normally. This actually not normally. I only do it at your show. So this gives you a way to get your finger on the pulse, because when I sell to a distributor or a large retailer, it's very hard for me to get the feedback because it's got to go through the manager, the owner to me, and something gets lost. So to me, I love doing these shows, and they're on Long Island. So you get to talk to the people, and you really get a feel. Hey, I like this, I like that. You should do this different. There's not many places where you can do we have trade shows in the pet industry. We have 3 or 4 a year where all the all the wholesalers can come. But as far as consumer shows on Long Island, this is really about it.
This is the only one.
You know.
But it's interesting. The consumer shows are good because especially if you come up with a new idea, and there's a lot of new entrepreneurs in the pet industry.
Right.
So they come up with an idea. In a consumer show, you're face to face with thousands of potential customers. So you may think your product is worth this, and then you're going to find out it may be worth that.
Right.
You're going to say, this is what's selling. We just have a new gentleman that came up with an idea for a new microchip. But it's not a microchip. It's a chip that everybody's cell phone can reach, because microchips, you need to have the microchip machine.
Right.
So by coming to our show, and he did this in September at the show, he was able to understand that now he needs to educate the public about why his product is so different.
Right.
So that everybody now that has a cell phone can, or an iPhone, I guess it's a new word.
A smartphone.
Smartphone can now chip the dog or cat.
So let me just. So people who would go to the show, are they people who would go just because they want to have a fun day around animals? Because I know you have a lot of shows that go on there, which I'm going to ask you about some of the different shows. Are they people who, hey, I want to get a new dog or a new cat? I want to go shopping. Who would go to the Pet Expo?
Combination of all those.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that most of the people that come to the show are pet owners. We get about 1,200 animals that come to the show.
Wow.
With their owners. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That also makes the show interesting too, because if you get this big bull mastiff dog, no one's seen one of those before, and they see a dog, or you get the little dogs. We get people in strollers that have 5 little dogs in their stroller, and it's just that makes it interesting. You get a lot of Great Danes that come. People haven't seen Great Danes, so by allowing the public to bring, which has been a difficult thing over the time, because a lot of the buildings have been concerned about that.
Right.
But it turns out that it's worked out very well, and by allowing people to bring their pets to the show, it adds a little dimension to it.
Right, definitely, yeah. I think it just makes it more exciting, and you talk to the people.
Yes.
Anybody who's bringing their pet obviously is okay with somebody talking to them about their pet. So they're happy to do it.
They're our salespeople.
Yeah, exactly. It's everybody. Tell me about some of the shows, the entertainment that you have at the.
Well, the one we've had for almost 16 years now is the Rainforest Reptile Shows, and he talks about the rainforest of South America and how important it is to our planet. And he is a what's the word? He is a
reptologist.
Well, he's a reptologist,
herpetologist.
but he also is the company in Massachusetts. When even in Suffolk County, when Suffolk County takes away the reptiles from people's houses,
right?
Like if they have a snake or an alligator or whatever, he comes down from Massachusetts, and he has a sanctuary in Massachusetts.
Okay.
So he does these reptile shows. They're fun. He makes it. He has some humor to it, and it's educational.
Right.
And he has a trailer that people can go through, because certain reptiles you can't touch. Mm-hmm. So he has this trailer where people walk through the trailer. They give them $1 donation. They walk through the trailer and they see things they've never seen before.
Right. Yeah,
and
that's pretty good.
That's one. The other one, the big one of our show, is the dog arena, which from the time we open to the time we close every day has dog activities on there. Everything from dog agility, dog obedience. We do a parade of breeds. We do a costume contest. It's a fun thing. And we hire some pretty quality people that do the basic part of the show. Diana Froman, who is a friend of ours, she does the dancing with the dogs. Right. She has 2 Goldens that are unbelievable. Now she's already working on a third, and to music they dance, and it's
it's fun show. The kids love it.
Oh man, you can just see it. It's unbelievable.
I get that song stuck in my head. She plays the same song.
Yeah.
Nuts being invented.
Well, after you're there all,
being there all day. I also know last year you had the cat show there.
We have a cat show as well.
Is that planned? Is that an every year event now?
That's a Tika Championship cat show.
Which is people that have show quality cats.
Cats.
And they judge them. Which is, if you've never seen a cat show, this is a pretty interesting thing to see. You can't even believe all the varieties of cat breeds. I know I enjoy it.
And the way they do it, they put the cat up on the table. The judge they clean their hands.
Right.
Then they judge the cat, and they clean their hands. They put the cat back in the cage, That's interesting. And there's the last show we just did in New Jersey, there was 103 cats, and I think at Long Island there were 150.
That's a lot of cats.
Yeah.
So speaking about cats, you got the Parrot Society to be there.
Oh,
I got to keep them afraid, but the Parrot Society is always an attention getter over there.
They're
Tell us
the
about
best.
that's the Long Island Parrot Society.
Long Island Parrot Society. They
In fact,
come.
our cameraman Donald Caulfield, he's a big fan. He's a parrot owner, and he comes to the expo every year and talks to the parrot people.
And they're all volunteers.
Right.
And they come and spend the whole weekend with their birds, and they show people, they educate people about ownership and about parrots and about birds. And we actually have to put them in a special location because the crowds just go around, and everyone there is so excited about the society that they belong to that it's one of a very popular part of our show.
How much does it cost to get in?
$12 adults, $10 for seniors and military, and $5 for children. 3 and under are free.
Okay, and you see the shelters go. They actually bring dogs there.
Yes.
So somebody can come there and go home with the dog.
Some shelters will adopt on premise. Some shelters won't.
Right.
So they'll take the application, and we allow.
But you pick the pet there. They pick the pet that they like, or not?
Yeah, but we allow the shelters to do whatever they feel is their mission.
Right.
So we do have off from the Animal Rescue Fund of the Hamptons. They actually adopt on premises. We do have some rescues that do as well, but we do have some rescues that will only adopt after they take your application, and then some rescues are very particular where they'll actually come and visit your house,
right,
to make sure that everything's legit.
So this is for dogs. What about other animals?
Cats.
People can adopt cats.
Oh, yes.
What about the reptiles, birds, anything like that?
No. Well,
pigs,
I
chickens.
We do have a pig society that comes, but they're going through transition right now. The potbelly pigs are very popular in Pennsylvania. Long Island, there is a pig group. They're very popular, but now they're going through transitions. Reptiles, we don't adopt. We actually only have, depending on our show, maybe only 2 reptile vendors that sell reptiles,
right,
and that would be the only pet we sell. I think the Parrot Society, I don't think they're there to adopt.
There's
but
education.
I'm sure if someone wants to adopt, they can find that out.
Right.
Because people call them when they want to put up, say someone passes away and they have a bird, then the society will go in there and help find a home for that bird.
What about a petting zoo for the kids who want to get up close and touch some exotic animals?
We have a great petting zoo. Yeah.
They bring in all the regular farm animals, and
yes,
and people can get up close to all them.
We have a petting zoo. We have pony rides at Long Island. We have a stage area where we have different type of educational programs going on as well. What's the other thing we have? We have a new thing we added last year was rabbit hopping.
Which is what?
Rabbits jumping over fences.
Oh, really?
Rabbit hopping. Yeah.
Okay.
And then this year
It's got to be hard training a rabbit to jump over the
they
fence.
do it.
You dangle the carrot in front of them?
I guess they jump.
I missed that one.
They love to jump. That's in the back.
Okay.
And then this year they just added guinea pig agility course.
Wow.
Now you have a dog agility course. Now they have a guinea pig.
Is this for
agility
people
course.
to bring their own guinea pigs?
They can.
So if anybody's watching and they say, hey, I have a guinea pig, because I think it's nice to do something with your pet.
Yes.
A lot of times they get a pet, it sits in a cage, and people play.
Right.
But I think to get some more excitement, it would be nice, to do it. So
Yep.
if somebody has their child has a guinea pig and they want to teach them how to do it, what's your
They'll do that.
website? Can they go to the website first and maybe reach out to you?
To make sure that we
and
have
learn?
it for the Long Island show. It's familypetshows.com.
And you're on Facebook as well?
Yes, Facebook is familypetshow.com.
Okay, and we'll put that on the bottom of
Yes.
the screen somewhere around there, and that's. I think people should do that in advance of the March show, though,
Yes.
if they want to do it, because maybe that's a nice thing in the cold winter months to be working on teaching your rabbit how to jump or your guinea pig how to
it's
do
really popular.
go through tunnels
Oh,
and
yeah.
and things
And
like
the other
that.
thing we added 2 years ago was Dachshund Racing, and that's neat.
You set up a track in the place?
You set up fortunately the Suffolk Community College is on a track.
Okay.
So we have the lanes that they would use for regular racing, and they set up. It's probably a 60-yard track, and they start the dachshunds and they race them.
How do they get them to go? They put a rabbit at the end or something?
Oh, they just run.
Yeah, they're just trained to. So if somebody's coming to the Pet Expo, they could spend the whole day there.
Oh yeah.
This is a whole day. A whole day affair. All
I
right.
would think most trade shows people go to, or maybe they're there for maybe a half hour to an hour.
Right.
Our show, we've done the study is maybe 3 to 5 hours.
Okay. Well, that's
That's
for
a lot of
$12.
time. Yep.
To be able to go there, and kids are how much did you say?
Kids are $5.
Yeah. So that's especially here on
Free
Long
and under are
Island.
free.
That's pretty that's pretty reasonable for Long Island. So you can
think
go home
so.
with a pet, and again, I think it's really important. I personally believe in pet ownership.
Yes.
I know there's sort of a movement sometimes against owning pets, and whether it's humane or not. But I really believe that it teaches children responsibility, and most of us in our generation, we grew up with pets. We grew up with fish, rabbits, whatever. We had something.
We'd find a turtle in the,
Right,
in the backyard.
Besides just playing video games all day, and I think it just teaches them about life. They die, so it teaches them. Your parakeet dies. It teaches you about death. So, I personally think it's important. I think sometimes people forget about how important we take it for granted that now just kids play video games. But honestly, even kids who play video games, and I've seen them at the expo, and in my family, if you bring them to a parakeet or a rabbit,
they put away the game.
All right, so Dennis, before we wrap it up, is there anything you want to talk? You got some pictures that we have? You want to talk
we
about some
send
of these
over
pictures?
a bunch of pictures of different parts of the show.
Okay.
So we'll have a picture of a parrot, we'll have a picture of a cat, a picture of a dog. The dog agility is really exciting because when they're jumping and they're going fast and they're going high, the crowd and our performers, these are professionals that we hire, they get the crowd into it.
Right.
So it really gets exciting. The alpacas come to the show. They come from Pennsylvania. They're a very interesting animal. And then they sell the wool from the alpaca and make sweaters out of it and socks. It's the best pair of socks I've ever owned. And it's just that some shows go up and down. The pet show just keeps going up.
And it's nice, you call it the Family Pet Expo. It's nice because it is a family event.
Yes.
A lot of times somebody has a hobby. Maybe the husband likes cars and the wife likes sewing or jogging, but there's not that many things that you can do that you can bring the whole family to and have a hands-on experience. And that's one of the things.
And where the kids cry when they have to leave.
Yeah, that's
Normally
nice.
you see them wanting to leave at all these other events. Now they don't want to leave.
Right.
That's my favorite part of the show.
Right. Well, Dennis, thank you very much for
you.
giving us information. You're doing it for 20 years, and now that Joe's involved, I'm sure it'll be going on for
another 20 years.
At least another 20 years. And again, if anybody wants more information, we have the numbers on the bottom of the screen. You can go to the website, go to the Facebook page, and if you're thinking about adoption and it's coming close to March, this is a great place to go see several adoption agencies and. I think also if you want to volunteer and you're saying how do I get involved, you can go around and speak to some of these rescue groups, and it's just a great way to get involved and meet people. People who like animals are nice people.
Yes.
So you're around just a great group of fun people. So I look forward to it, and I will see you in March at Suffolk Community College. Thanks again, Dennis.
Thank you.
I'm Gary Jacobs, and thank you for joining us again at Long Island Backstory. Please go to our Facebook page and like Long Island Backstory. Share it to everybody. This is the way we get the word out on things like that. The power of social media. It doesn't cost you anything to click like and share, and we'll see you next week.
Long Island Backstory. Chief Correspondent Gary Jacobs is uncovering the truth on Long Island. the family court system, red light cameras, corruption in local politics, the heroin epidemic, corrupt judges. At Long Island Backstory, we uncover the truth that the Cablevision news monopoly won't dare touch. We uncover the details you won't see on News 12 or in Newsday. We are local independent media at its best. Long Island Backstory, available on public access TV and on YouTube. Long Island Backstory. Long Island Backstory.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
Long Island Backstory.
Wake the sun, tell him that I've begun to dream of things to come, and tell the trees not to look for me. I'm going to find some peace of mind. Wake the sun, wake the sun, wake the sun, wake the sun.
Long Island Backstory. Long Island Backstory.